there's a chapter in my book called What Do You Do?, which describes how hard it is for me to tell anybody what I do for a living. I had another family reunion a couple of weeks ago, and those poor people are just giving up. They have no idea what I do. Every once in a while someone will tell me a joke, and they'll say, hey, you can use that in your act. I said, well, I don't really have an act. And then they start worrying about my children and my mortgage and stuff like that. I feel sorry for my family. It is hard to describe what I do. But whatever it is, I did thousands of them. And there's a chapter in the book, this lovely one you're all going home with. They look better than this one. This is my pocket thing that I read from because I like a mashed up one. It had tequila spilled on it last week. I like this one. That's pretty good. There's a chapter in my book called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I wanted to give an idea of what sort of jobs go by starting as a, like when I started as an improvisational comedian, you couldn't say that phrase. It would scare the people who were hiring you to death. They just wouldn't hire you. You said you were going to make stuff up. There was no credibility. You could tell them, oh, it's like jazz. That'd really scare you out of a club owner's office right there. They said, even worse, he's an intellectual and he wants to make stuff up. It'd just be terrible. And so, but boy, we took a lot of different jobs, and you know, a lot of them thought I'd written all that stuff, and hey, you know, that's okay too. Anyway, here's one of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The good job, oh, that was a good one. That was a that was a double booking on the beach in Kauai, a big rock and roll stage on the beach in Kauai at a huge amphitheater. They flew my whole family out there with me twice, gave us a week in between, and they gave me a cast of conch shell blowers and fire twirlers, and I had to vamp for time to time a helicopter's entrance to dump thousands of pounds of succulent flower petals on the audience. That was a good gig. That was a sweet gig. The gig that's the ugly of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly is so ridiculously, painfully bad, I just don't even look at it or talk about it. It just so happens I saw the guy who I was doing that gig with over this last weekend, and we just don't even lock eyes when the subject comes up. It's like there's a bad smell that's chasing you. If you slow down, you're going to smell like that bad smell. So that's the ugly. We won't talk about that. But the bad one's nice and palatable and keeps me humble on a busy year like this. And so here we go. Here's a bad one. Here's what those comedians are doing when they're trying to get to point A to point B. It might be something like this. This gig is called The Head Table. The bad is called The Head Table. I got the call from a great producer, one of the best locally, and a friend of mine named David Perkoff. He says he has this unique job he'd like me to help with. It's a first try, and he wants to know if it's a good thing for him to sell to his clients or not. The pay is good. Y'all, by good, I mean $350. The pay is good. It's a short job, but with an earlier call time than usual for makeup. Okay, nowadays that would really set off red flags for me. Show up an hour and a half early to make stuff up. I would be totally concerned they were going to put me in a costume or something, which has happened, but we're not talking about that. All right, it's at the nicest country club in town. If I like it, I can have 2 more that he'll book, each one for more good money. The gig is called The Head Table, and it goes like this. There's a nice reception for business associates at an elegant country club. They mingle around an appetizer buffet for cocktails before dinner, and they talk about business and golf. I've been made up by a professional with Rambo-style jungle camouflage makeup. A drab greenish scarf is covering my head and hair, and my face has black and green all over it in leafy patterns. I'm dark enough that when I open my eyes widely and bare my teeth at the same time, they brightly pop out and I look downright frightening all at once. But with my eyes and mouth closed, I'm invisible, obviously. I say obviously because I'm unnoticed when I'm hiding inside the buffet. You heard me, my head is sticking up through the buffet table. They've shrouded me in plants, and I've been positioned under this buffet table since before the guests were even let into the room. I've been watching the guests through almost closed eyes. I have some tasty brie and kiwi and truffle and chocolate dipped banana slivers all laid out in front of me like bait. Elegant bait. I am not comfortable. We didn't know how to judge the position and the various discomforts ahead of time, and now I'm knowing it sucks. And it is sucking progressively more with each passing minute. My shoulders hurt up against the table. My legs have gone way past falling asleep or numbing. My legs are now throbbing somewhere in the distance. I decide I've been stealthy long enough for this, and a guy in a suit walks up. He's chatting about the Houston Rockets. He's reaching for a snack. So I let out a psst, briefly but pointedly. He pauses and he glances around, so I do it again. Psst. He looks in my direction, right into the plants, but still he sees me not. I'm feeling a little power. He stuffs an excessively large bite of fruit and cheese into his mouth as he leans over to peer more closely into my little thicket of bushes. All at once I push my face forward into the light while baring my teeth and widening my eyes, and I gnash out a lipless diction phrase, "How about them rockets?" Then I pull my head back as quick as I can, and I close my eyes and mouth, and I become invisible. So this guy's freaking. He starts shrieking like a little girl. He's dancing and jerking his hands up and down in panic. He has rained his scotch on all who stood behind him. Now he's grabbing his heart. There's a couple of friends around him who knew about me. They're doing okay. They're hyperventilating, apoplectic laughing machines with the sound turned off. Does that make sense to y'all? Where people have laughed so much that no sound's coming out? Doing that whole... I just don't know if they need a candy bar or what, you know? The guy can't catch his breath. He's still clutching his chest. He's just standing there clutching his chest, looking terrible. He's pale. He doesn't know if he's okay. He might have shat. Then out of the blue he says, "Okay, let's get Pete over here and do that to him." And so it goes for a while. I'm in a parade of innocents and veterans. I try whispering to some of them and then disappearing without returning. I tried popping out to advise against the salmon and disappearing again. I did a lot of winking in the dark. This went on for about 20 or 30 minutes. Then this big, smiley, bouncy, robust man trots up and grabs a snack. And I pop out and say, "Save a little for me, will ya?" So his reaction is to jump. Straight up. No kidding. This guy is 300 pounds if he's an ounce. He's going up and up. And he's going horizontal towards me in some superhuman fight and flight simultaneity. On his way up, he's grabbing a handful of fruit and cheese and tossing it at me. Like psychologically tossing sand in the face of a bear to let it know you're not going to die quietly. His mouth is agape and his tongue is folded up and backwards in his head. His eyes are pinpoints of pupils on veined ping pong balls. I'm thinking I've killed this man. And I'm about to be crushed under his falling dead body, sporting elegant buffet and wearing Rambo makeup in a bizarre comedy-related accident that'll never be explained. But I live and he lives. The client loves me and hates me. They had the best of times and the worst of times. They got out of there looking over their shoulders like the table was still dangerous. Elegant, but dangerous. Well, I told David, the producer, David here in Austin, I told David, the producer, that it sucked. But it could be made to work for the money. So I take another gig, like a glutton for punishment. This time the crowd is passing by and not hanging out too long. And also the buffet table is twice as big and elaborate. They put 2 holes for me, one at either end. They made me a nice little padded rolling seat, just the right size for my bottom. This time we try a Caribbean theme at my suggestion. And they're putting pirate makeup on me, complete with a fake display parrot on my shoulder. Now comedians knocking out gigs like this, we got to think of ways to keep ourselves interested. And the reason I suggested a Caribbean thing for this law office is because I'd already played with the accent before, and I was looking forward to calling these lawyers liars all night long. It was just for my entertainment. The clients are a bunch of lawyers in a restored historic building, and I get to pop out and say things like, "Hello, liar!" This, I claimed, was exactly how a pirate would pronounce lawyer. The gig was controlled, and the client loved it and booked 2 more head table gigs right away, and I gave them both to my young friend Joe Parsons, and I told him the tricks because from now on I take above the table gigs exclusively unless they pay really well.